Matrix 4 promises the return of a beloved franchise that has been dormant for decades. With the return of Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and other Matrix original cast members from the previous trilogy. Yet there is one actor who will not be returning, Hugo Weaving. So we were wondering, will Agent Smith return? If he does, how will he return? Neo and Smith are two sides of the same coin, a systematic anomaly that took control of a human and a program. Neo will return in Matrix 4, so shouldn't Smith? Today we're going to discuss 5 ways that Agent Smith could return to Matrix 4. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Before we begin today's video, we would like to invite you to visit the Street Fighter Verse, a channel dedicated to everything Street Fighter. Would you like to know what is the Hadouken, or if Bison has been dead the entire time? Then please visit Street Fighter Verse. Link to the channel in the description below. Number 5. The Merovingian has a sample of the Smith virus. When our computers are infected by viruses, we have 2 options on how to remove them. Disinfect the computer by quarantining the virus or reformatting the computer. Antiviruses deletes the file from its original location on the computer and transforms or converts it into a file that cannot be run as a program. In addition, it hides it in a hidden folder that cannot be accessed or seen. Agent Smith's infection of the Matrix may have lasted only a few hours, but he infected the entire simulation. We learned that Smith gains the abilities of the programs he infects. When one of the Smiths assimilates the Oracle, he obtained the eyes of the Oracle, from which we've assumed that this one Smith became the most powerful one of them all. So if some Smiths were weaker than others, who's to say that the Merovingian was not able to capture one of these weaker Smith clones and quarantine it away from the rest of the pack? He has the perfect program working for him that has a special location that no one can access but him, the Train Man. Ramakandra's family knew that the Train Man could trap them in Mobile Ave forever. In fact, Rama believed that that was to be Neo's fate when they met at the train station.
Is that what you're doing here?
Rama, please.
I do not want to be cruel, Kamala. He may never see another face for the rest of his life.
I'm sorry.
Perhaps Rama knew or knew of other programs that the Merovingian and the Train Man trapped in this construct. A perfect place to keep a Smith clone. The Merovingian, as he well demonstrated in Matrix Reloaded, can modify the Matrix code. So maybe he modified Smith and turned him into one of his exiles. Number 4. Smith is hiding in the real world. When Neo was assimilated by Smith, Deus Ex Machina sent a signal or current through Neo's body that spread to all the Smiths, destroying them. It worked like an antivirus. It took a few seconds for all the Smiths to be eradicated from the simulation, but as we saw in Matrix Reloaded, Smith infected a human red pill, Bane. Deus Ex did eliminate all the Smiths from the simulation, but what about outside the simulation? There is no guarantee that there is not another human out there with the Smith virus. A red pill carrying the virus in their brain, like dormant cancer, waiting to spread. Number 3. Smith's hologram takes over. In the Matrix comic I Can't, Morpheus was training Kid in the construct in a simulation that emulated allies and enemies. In this program, there were holograms of Neo, Trinity, and Smith. These were not residual self-images. They were programs modeled after these individuals. Another training program that had Smith in it was the Woman in Red program. So theoretically, a red pill could take a Smith hologram, modify it, and install it into the Matrix for harmful purposes. Number 2. Remnants of Smith inside the Matrix. When a computer is reformatted, it still retains recovery files. Many times these files are hidden deep inside the hard drive, and if you know where to look, they can be accessed. Smith even though he was removed from the simulation, bits and pieces of his code could still exist inside the simulation's memory banks, waiting for a misfortunate host to infect. And number 1, Neo revives Smith. This theory proposes the following. When Neo destroyed Smith in the first movie, something was copied onto the agent, which we believe was the anomaly's code. The error code allowed Smith to evade his deletion and subsequently gave him new and more dangerous abilities. Just as Neo destroyed Smith by entering his shell, Smith assimilated Neo by infecting his residual self-image. And for a few moments, just before Deus Ex Machina intervened, Neo was absorbed by the X-Agent. According to Maggie, who studied Bane in Matrix Revolutions, when Smith infects the human brain, it causes damage to the cerebral cortex, the sector of the brain responsible for perception, memory, and personality.
Has this man been tested for VDTs?
Yes, sir, it was negative. But he is showing a lot of unusual neural activity. Some cross-synaptic firing as well as signs of recent trauma, with fresh fibrotic scarring throughout the cortex.
So even though Smith was erased from the Matrix, he most likely had already caused damage to Neo's brain, which if Neo is revived in Matrix 4, the Smith virus could still be inside his brain, affecting his memories and personality. Smith is a part of Neo. They are now one entity. The Neo in Matrix 4 could be mistaken for a schizophrenic, but in actuality, it is Smith who is trying to take control of Neo's mind and body. Just as Neo copied a part of himself into Smith, Smith copied himself into Neo. But do you agree? Will Agent Smith return in Matrix 4? How could he return without the original actor playing this iconic villain? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.